Assalamu alaikum, everyone. In this thought provoking episode, we embarked on a transformative journey of self discovery as we confront the addictive and all consuming nature of social media. We discussed the effects of social media on the lives of college students, and we used Instagram, among other apps, as a case study. We also shared some practical solutions to make a better usage of social media platforms in general. Saving the best for last, we introduced our first ever part time host, Rahma. She's also a mechatronics student in her second year. Don't forget to follow our Instagram at Decastronics. So, get comfortable, unwind, and indulge in your favorite snack as we plunge into this exhilarating episode.
You are now listening to the Castronics podcast.
Hosted by MBS, Maryam and Hajar.
Weekly episodes are coming up, so stay tuned.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to the Castronics podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about social media and its impact on the life of college students. First of all, let's welcome our first part-time host, Rahma.
Hi.
Welcome, Rahma. How you doing?
I'm good.
Fake claps.
Hi.
Good to have you with us today.
It's good to talk to you guys too. To be hosted here.
So nice.
I know, right?
The pleasure is ours.
Today we're going to talk about social media. If it's good, bad, what is it? Why do we have it? Why are some people addicted? Etc., etc.
First of all, you gotta know that social media is very widespread. So pretty much everybody is using social media. So in this episode, we're not gonna try to go from the angle of social media is bad, cut it off, but rather how to deal with it and how to avoid its cons and make the most out of
basically our opinions.
pros. Yes.
Everything that's said here is our opinion just for like the court.
So let's start with the first question. How does social media distract you from your daily tasks? And how do you deal with it when it comes to time management? Want to start, Maryam?
Yeah, sure. So first off, I'd like to say I'm a social media addict and I've learned my lesson the hard way. It tried to be like a little bit softer, but then, so I had a phase last semester, I don't know, like if my friends on Instagram, where I would post literally everything on my stories.
Yes, we know.
It was fun because I would share like my memories, like for me, I took it as sharing memories with my friends, to my friends, and saving these memories for later so I can later see them and stuff. I don't know if people took it that way. Anyways, so it got a bit too much, I think. And then even like during finals and stuff. And then my phone screen broke. It's a funny story. Okay, I wanted to touch the leaves and then my phone was in my hoodie.
I witnessed
So I
that.
ran and jumped. I did not touch the leaves. So then I went to another like tree in front of the masjid in like Sultan Ismail. And then I jumped again. Nothing happened. So then I was like, okay, I think I need to sprint then jump. So I did that. Then my phone was like, wee, and it flew like projectile motion. And it fell face first. The screen was no longer functioning.
And that was the end of the first era of Maryam's stories, you mean?
Yes.
Great.
It was thinking back about it. I think it was God's way of telling me to stop.
It was start of a new era, basically.
Yes. And then it was my realization that I was addicted to my phone because it was like for 2 days because it went to get fixed and it like took 1 day. But the first day I literally cried because I felt so alone. I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? And then I was surprised that I was crying about a broken phone that's not with me. It was a whole weird thing.
But that's actually scary because it shows how much the usage of your phone has gotten.
It showed me how much I rely on my phone in my everyday life. And then it was a forced unplugging. So that was the first time I realized I'm a phone addict.
How about you, Rahma?
I'm not really a phone addict. I was an Instagram addict at some point. I didn't post my daily life, but I posted a lot of selfies. And I was always like constantly looking for likes and followers. I hate Instagram now because it wasn't that good for my mental health because I was constantly on Instagram 24/7.
Is it because of FOMO? I think all of us, or if not most of us, have a decent amount of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Is that a thing that
it
you
wasn't-
constantly feel? Or?
Yes.
It's not because I had FOMO. I think it's because it was a way for me to like run away from responsibilities. So I was just scroll through reels for hours and hours and hours. And then I was tired of it because, of course, like my responsibility would get accumulated. I hate it because it was like the biggest distraction in my life.
I see.
And I tried to delete Instagram. At some point, I had a phase where I would delete Instagram at night.
And reinstall it in the morning?
No, I would delete Instagram and then reinstall it at night, stay at it for an hour or two, and then delete it when I get bored. It was a real problem because it gave me insomnia, like really bad. I've been having it since I was really, really young. I'm born with it. So it just made it worse. And I couldn't like sleep for 3 days straight because I was always constantly thinking about who texted me and what did that person post.
Oh, that's a very bad aspect of what social media can do on you. How about you,
Yeah.
Haja?
True. For me, I had a phase where I was also very attached to social media, where I would post like literally every day and every update. But that was before uni. And then uni came, and then I was like at a point where I don't have time to post. And then there was a time where I was very attached to Reels and TikTok. And then it reached to a point where my screen time was like 12 hours.
12 hours.
That's sad.
And it's
12
mostly
hours.
on social media.
It was mostly on social media. So I was like, I woke up one day and I was like, I need to do something better with my time because this is getting out of hand. And I wasn't doing anything productive, you know. I was mostly depressed. So what happened was last semester, I tried deleting Instagram for a month. Actually,
Oh, yeah, I remember
it
that.
was actually more than a month. And it was honestly a really, really, really great phase in my life. So now I have Instagram reinstalled, but I'm no longer attached to it. I can detach at any moment.
I can actually relate. So I've had Instagram before, back when I was in middle school. And I've had it until my first year of high school. And then there was a point where my dad came up and said, Muhammad, you gotta delete Instagram. And it's funny because at the time I wasn't thinking anything about it. I straight up said yes, and I deleted it. I deleted not only the app, but also my account. I deleted my Instagram account. And so I stayed without Instagram, because right now we're talking about Instagram, but obviously the topic of social media goes way beyond Instagram itself. But Instagram is a practical example. So I stayed for about 3 years without Instagram. And I remember why I downloaded it. It was during COVID, during my second semester of uni. That's when I re-downloaded Instagram and I started adding people. And at the time, it was a good addition to a certain extent because it allowed me to connect with people. Because, you know, during COVID era, it was a somewhat of a boring era. Everybody was staying alone and there was no, it was very depressing.
Yeah, it was very depressing.
There was no social life at all. So for me to go back on Instagram at that time, I think was a good choice. However, it backfired a few months later, where I would literally catch myself wasting time on, you know, useless stuffs. So that's when I started to do a sort of a purge or put guidelines on how I use social media and how I use Instagram to be specific. As in, when I go on Instagram, for example, as of now, what I do is I reply to messages. I post a story if I have to. I watch 3 stories, 5 max. They're really interesting. I don't scroll that much, and then I just leave the app for it not to get over my head. You see?
Yeah. That's a great strategy, not gonna lie.
But then the discipline on how to deal with social media is what everybody's dealing with. See, right now, we're in uni, so obviously social media is a big addition to our lives, and it's something kind of necessary because you kind of need to stay updated. But then, where do you put the line and say, stop, this isn't it? This is where I need to put the boundaries. What do you think, Mariam?
I think when it starts to ruin or like take over, where you start to waste time on it constantly. Like Hajar said, like your screen time is 12 hours. What the hell? Like you have things you must have. Like,
How do you
things
know?
to do.
How do you know that you're wasting time? Is it when it starts to take over your priorities?
Yes, from my perspective, whenever I'm like free and I start to I catch myself opening Instagram to look at it, that's when you're like, oh, this is a problem. Whenever you hold your phone and wait for a notification, oh, this is a problem. Why are you waiting for a notification? unless it's something important. That's when you start to look or focus on your behavior. So what I call it is when you break out of yourself for a little bit and zoom out. You zoom out and then you see what's happening. Yeah, association, dissociation. So association is being part of the thing. Dissociation is you seeing yourself, like we're sitting on a table, 4 of us. Yeah, it's like you're in a drone and you're seeing the footage from like the ceiling. So you start to see your behavior and what you're doing.
See the bigger picture.
Yes, see the bigger picture. So that's when you realize, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this is bad. I have stuff to do, but I'm prioritizing social media over it. I'm prioritizing watching reels that are going to be there forever. Because nothing really leaves the internet. So you're going to find it, like, whether you like it or not. But so yeah, you start prioritizing social media above your responsibilities, just like Rahma said. And that's when it starts to become a very big problem and you need to stop. But that's very dark. This has been very, how do I say this? Sad and very dark. Like, we're waiting for the rain right now. We started in a very negative side of social media. But there are benefits to social media. Like you said, it helped you connect with more people during COVID.
Yes.
For me, most people say that Instagram is very toxic. I see weird things on it. I learned how to control my feed. So now all my feed is like the things I like. So movies. And then I found that I spent a lot of time on Instagram. So I'm like, okay, let's try to get my feed to be more helpful and useful.
I like how you speak about making your feed more relevant to you.
Because I do spend time and I like spending time on it.
One thing that I like to do is, well, I've started that, I'm not completely done, is to unfollow all the people who make me feel underrated or not achieving enough. So what I do is I only follow accounts where I see practical steps or things that I can actually reproduce. So for example, if I'm following gym personalities, I know that I can redo the same exercises, or if there are advices related to studies or your life in general, I know I can apply them. But then to follow accounts that constantly show you that you're underachieving is probably the most toxic.
It depends on how you take it. So the things that you see as that they tell you that you're underachieving, you see it that way. Maybe someone else sees it as a motivation.
As an inspiration.
I actually see it as a
inspiration.
motivation.
So what I do is I followed studygrams, if you've heard about it, where like people film themselves taking notes and study tips. Basically, it's called a studygram because it's like the study
Side of
part of Instagram, so it helps me. And then I started following accounts about mental health and stuff, so that helps me a lot. And then I like comedies, so I do comedies. Movies, I like to know about movies and more about like how the movie is made and stuff like that. So I like learning about these things. And then because I like robotics, we're in mechatronics, I followed kind of a mechatronic account where they do like cool projects. So then my feed started to increase. So I'm like, I started liking things and saving things and then sharing stuff.
I like that
so
account, by
my
the way.
Instagram started
Yeah, same.
showing me stuff like that. And that was also cool because it gave me new ideas and increased my knowledge about my field of study. So I think in a way I turned Instagram into a nice thing or a somewhat useful thing. Yeah, I still have the toxic parts, but then
It's more useful.
it's more useful. And like when I like, it has all the things, like my For You page has everything. But mostly I choose what to see. So that's nice. I still have the option of seeing the toxic things if I want to. But then I can see the nature, stuff about nature, stuff about photography, stuff about the things that interest me and actually benefit me.
Again, guys, let's not only focus on Instagram because Instagram is not the only social media that you use.
I'd like to go to
Twitter.
What's the one you use the most, Haja?
TikTok, actually.
TikTok. And you, Rahma?
Currently, because I don't have Instagram and TikTok, because they are the most addictive social media platforms. But currently, the most used one is either YouTube or Pinterest.
Oh my God, YouTube. We consider YouTube as social media?
No,
For me, I mean, I don't
not
know.
even Pinterest. is social media.
I don't think.
No, Pinterest is.
I don't think YouTube can be classified as a harmful social media, if I can say it this way, because YouTube is more like a
depends
TV.
It's
how
not
you use it.
harmful.
Definitely. For me, I use YouTube as a sort of an audio kind of platform. So like the podcasts, the videos that I watch, everything's on YouTube. So if you go on my desk, my YouTube is probably open 24 hours, 7. So is there. But then I've never felt like it was a bad thing or something negative because I chose what I wanted to watch, when to watch it. You know, it's not like your phone, because social medias on your phone kind of have a worse effect. See, they become like a reflex. You know, whenever you want to talk to someone or you're not talking to anybody and you feel like you want to do something,
your
you just take off,
hand starts picking up the phone and opening Instagram
automatically,
or like YouTube.
you open a social media just because you don't have anything to do. And that's a bad reflex. I think we should try to change that. But again, when it comes to...
I actually started getting over that. My screen time now, it's like, it lessened from 12 hours and 14 hours to 5 hours and 4 hours.
That's so nice.
I know, right? Because holding your phone is like not gonna benefit you in any way, unless I actually have the same method as you. Basically, I customized my feed on both Instagram and TikTok, and now my Instagram is filled with AI.
So cool.
I know, right? It's filled with AI and productivity tools. Books. I'm on the Booksgram side of Instagram. I'm also on the TikTok side of books. I forgot the name.
I don't read.
Anyways.
I mean, you need to have a life outside of social media.
Well, yeah, I do have a life outside.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
know.
question for you. You see, you said that you cut off social media for a month. Mm-hmm. Was it during the year?
Yeah, it
like,
was.
Were you studying at the same time?
It was towards the end of the last year, like November, December.
So you were during a semester.
Yeah, I was during the semester.
How did that affect your academic performance?
I think it led to a greater academic performance, actually. I was able to focus more on my studies and not get distracted by Reels and TikToks and waste endless hours watching.
I'm not here.
You know?
Mariam out.
Whatever it is. It actually also helped my sleep routine.
Oh my god.
Because I'm no longer touching my phone before bed. So
You don't have anything to do?
Yeah,
when
I
you
don't
go
have
sleep?
anything to do, so I go sleep.
I think my phone did distract me, not only a few times, but a lot of times when it comes to my sleep. And a good way to actually fix your sleeping schedule, because we keep talking about it on and again, but we forgot the aspect of the phone. We forgot that the phone does play a big role in making your life much better if you
easier.
use it properly. But then, again, when it comes to social media, how did that affect you? Since you, Rahma, you deleted the app for quite some time. Did you see that it had any positive impact in your life?
Yes, definitely.
Or any negative, if there is any?
I don't think there are any negatives at all. I think it has affected me positively in my life in general because I started to focus on myself better instead of focusing on others and comparing myself because I have the time to do that. And obviously it affected me positively in my academics a lot because now I'm not distracted by social media. Yeah, it was the biggest distraction in my life.
So after Mariam broke her phone
Please
screen
go ahead.
and then fixed her phone screen 2 days later, after having a literal breakdown, Mariam did not learn her lesson. During the semester break, I went on a trip and then I went snorkeling and then I did not close my phone properly in the water cover thingy and then my phone drank so much water, I don't know, got electrocuted or something. Water does not go well with electronics.
Short-circuited.
Water
It got
does not
short-circuited.
go well with electric circuits. Let me
Wow.
tell you that.
Wow.
Oh my god, like we
There was
never
water
know.
vapor in my camera lens.
On today's episode of Facts by Mariam. Definitely.
Anyway. Yeah, so like at first I was like so surprised and then I was like, how am I going to live? It was denial, then acceptance. No, denial, then like, you know the stages of grief?
Yes.
What are they?
Denial, grief, something like that. And then
Anyways,
acceptance
so I had
is the
some
last.
stages, okay, where I was like, I can't live without this. And then I was like, I'm okay with that. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I was like, oh, life is so nice and butterflies and sunshine and rainbows. And then I decided not to have a phone. I was like, I don't need a phone. I have my laptop. If I need to call my parents, I'll just do it on my laptop. And I found alternative ways to live life without a phone for like 2-3 weeks. Was it?
It was almost a month. Yeah.
And I felt so free because like the moment I just closed my laptop lid, I felt this freedom that was so nice. No one can contact me. No one can do anything. I would go anywhere I want and no one would know, and it would be amazing, and I wouldn't have to care about anything. And then semester started and I realized I need to scan my attendance. So I was like, oh, I need a phone. But yeah, it was, and then my sleep got better. My health got better. Mental health got better. I started sleeping early. It was so nice.
The biggest blessing you could do to yourself is to sleep early. I cannot stress this enough. The days where you actually do sleep early, you wake up as if you were a new individual. Like it's a new life.
You sleep
You wake
early,
up energized.
you get your full hours of
Yeah, you wake up energized.
Talking about hours of sleep, how many hours do you think is enough?
7, 6, 7.
6, 7,
5, 6.
5, 6?
5, 6, yeah.
Once I start like 7 to 8, I start needing more sleep. And I think that's because I don't sleep enough like before. So I need to, the accumulated hours of sleep that I need to sleep are getting more and more. So then if I start getting the 7 to 8 hours, then my body's like, oh, it's going to be long. So it starts like, I think a new, what is it, a REM cycle? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A REM cycle, yeah.
And then I start getting into the deep sleep. So no matter how many hours I sleep, I still am sleepy. So my optimum level is 5 to 6.
I need at least 3 hours to stay alive.
Yes.
But then I can go through a day with 4. I'll be fine.
I'm not functioning.
But if there is any distraction, I'll get bored and try to sleep. But in average, I think 7 to 6 or 7 to 8 would be enough to live correctly.
What was the longest you've been without going to sleep?
Oh my God, I did, I think 24 hours. I was so proud. It was, I don't know when it was. I think it was during this year. It was so crazy. Yeah.
My longest was 3 days straight.
That's horrible.
3
Yeah.
days. That's
How?
a lot.
I don't know, ask my brain.
Did you take naps in between?
No, I did not.
How did you manage to not sleep for 3 days?
I don't know, I'm just...
Was it due for? Is it because of the insomnia or?
Yeah, it's because of insomnia. So, for example, I'm stressed, so my brain thinks that I'm in danger. I'm gonna explain it. Okay, so basically when you set a time for your sleep, let's say you sleep every day at 10 p.m. If you stay awake after that, your brain will think you are in danger.
Survival mode.
You're in survival mode, so it will wake you up and you will not be able to sleep until you get tired.
I thought it was smart.
No. So
This time it's in survival mode and I thought it was smart.
no. So when you alter your sleeping schedule, that's what happens. So when I'm stressed, I'm in that mood. It's not because I altered my sleeping schedule. It's because I'm stressed. So I stay awake and then comes the next day without sleeping at all. But the next day I need to go to my lectures. So I'll drink a cup of coffee. And the cycle goes on for 3 days straight. And then on the third day, I lose it and I sleep for like 12 to 16 hours. So yeah.
This is bad.
When was yours?
Yeah, that was in the past, but now I managed to sleep better. Like this semester is way, way better than last year.
The longest I've stayed was 30 hours maybe, if not a little bit more, because that was at the time when we were moving out. So when we moved from Jeddah to Riyadh, we had to, so I was driving with my dad the car because like we had loads of stuff. Other members of the family took the plane, but we had to take the car. I did not sleep at all, almost, for I don't know how many hours again. And the next day we still had to tidy up a lot of stuff. So that was a very specific circumstance. But in general, I don't stay more than 24 hours without sleeping. That's just not feasible for me.
Interesting. Basically, I remember there was a time where I did not sleep for almost 36 hours, but I don't remember what happened. So I'm going to tell the story that I actually remember that happened. I stayed up actually more than 24 hours, and this story happened around last year, Eid. I was with my friend, and we stayed up until suhoor. And then next morning was Eid. We stayed up and it was supposedly suhoor, but it ended up not being suhoor because it was Eid next morning. So We stayed up. I was painting a numbered, on canvas. It was a numbered painting. And me and my friends, we were just talking, and we were like divided into groups. Some people are painting this numbered painting thingy, and some people are talking about ghosts in the middle of the night, and some people were asleep. So yeah, I remember that day we did not for like a whole 24 hours. It was really fun.
It's fun if you do it occasionally, but
Yeah, not every day.
If it's a habit, then that's
The
very...
thing is, I found out that when I'm very sleepy, to stay awake, I need like an adrenaline rush. I need something fun to happen. I need like something with action and stuff. Once the adrenaline dies out, I also die.
But you get to a certain point where you can't. The adrenaline doesn't work anymore.
No,
It always happens?
I didn't reach that point yet. But like,
Well.
yeah, sometimes when I've slept for like 1 or 2 hours or like 30 minutes, which happened like last weekend, I needed something stimulating to keep me awake. Once it dies down, my eyes start to like close and I start hate everyone and my mood like, goes.
When did we experience that? I remember
The
that.
trip.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my
I
god.
didn't sleep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first day I slept at like 30 minutes and then the next day I slept for like 1 hour or something. It was crazy.
So guys, since we spoke about the problems that lead to a lack of sleep, and mainly the main problem was the usage of social media, let's talk about some practical tips and tricks that people could implement when it comes to limiting their usage of their phones in general or social media. So here the first one is to set boundaries. Setting boundaries as in establish designated times for social media and limit its impact on your daily routine. So for example, a practical solution would be to give yourself specific times during the day when you could use your phone. And besides them, try to find a mode. I think on Apple there's a mode called Focus, where they basically gray out some apps or just make them disappear from your screen, which prevents you from using it. But then you need discipline, because if you're not disciplined, you're just going to deactivate the mode and keep on using it as
Discipline is very
This
important.
mode is
to
very
everything.
frustrating for me. I swear to God. Because for me, I get distracted very easily. So I have everything on my mind. So, for example, I'd be studying out of nowhere and then I'd be like, oh, I did not reply to this certain person. So I have to open Instagram and I have to scroll through a bunch of reels and then I reply to this person and then I go back to studying.
I actually think if you didn't reply to that person would actually understand that you were busy. So I think it was better for you to not actually open the phone until it was your break time.
Honestly, I used to care about that much. I used to, when I was younger, I would care about, oh no, I'm not replying to this person early. I think he's going to think that I'm ignoring him and all that. But then as you grow up, you just realize that everybody's busy.
Yeah.
You know,
Everyone has a
nobody's thinking
schedule.
about you anyways. So you take your own time and reply when you can.
It's very
I sometimes receive the criticism, oh, you don't reply early, you only reply at night. Because I have specific times during my day where I reply to messages. I usually reply to them after Fajr, so like in the morning, and during lunch break, so that's usually when you don't have classes, or when I wake up during the weekends, and at night before sleep, that's where I clear out all the messages. But besides that, if you don't call me, I'm probably not gonna see the message unless it's urgent, you know. So that's part of setting your boundaries.
I actually have my phone on Do Not Disturb mode for 24 hours every day, 7 days a week.
24 hours?
Yes.
Mine is on from 11 something p.m. until 5 a.m. So
Oh.
during that time, I don't see the notifications. I need to go into the app and see who messaged me.
But you'd probably be asleep at that time.
The thing is, I'm not.
Aslam.
I'm using the phone, but I just don't care about messages. I don't want to read them. I don't want to listen to them. See, I kind of feel like it's my personal space.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing in a way, because then you decrease your usage of social media, but you're still using your phone and probably are on other social medias. Maybe not replying to people, but you're still using it.
Let's go back to writing letters to people. That would be so cool.
I wouldn't mind.
Like a 1 week where we only text in paper and send.
What if you need someone urgently?
Yeah, then you have your phone.
Yeah,
That's
but then
fine.
that's going to be a logistical problem. How are you going to send the letters?
That's
another
the fun part. Once you see the person, just give them all the letters you have. That would be so nice. Oh my god.
I
Let's do
think
this.
to actually limit your usage on social media is that you have to understand that your time is valuable. You have to say that from like what MBS is doing. You have to say from like maybe 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I will reply to messages, and from after that I will close my phone to like focus on myself. Because the thing is, also you have to understand that your time is valuable, and you have to also understand that time is money. So every minute you waste it on social media, you're actually like wasting.
Lose money. I want to see the money. I want to see that.
I mean, it only applies to people who actually give money, not us. But if you think about it, every minute you waste, you're wasting a minute of knowledge, of actually like developing your brain and your knowledge when you can use it.
When you think about it, is it really wasting time when you learn new things on social media?
If you're actually learning on social media, then it's not a waste.
I customize my feed to
in my
learning new
opinion,
things,
it
actually.
depends on 2 factors. So if you're learning something while you're supposed to be studying something else on the other side, then you're wasting your time.
Yes.
Okay.
But if in the flip side, you wouldn't be doing anything anyway, then you better learn something instead of watching nonsense.
I don't know. My feed is not nonsense now. It's more into interesting stuff.
Weirdly, I started not wanting to go into social like Instagram. My social media platform of choice is Instagram, and I started.
Maturing. It's called maturing.
Yeah, I don't know. I started not wanting to go on it. Like my thumb just goes onto Instagram, and then I'm like, ugh, what am I doing here?
Do I
There's
really want to
nothing-
be here?
No, there's nothing to do. I've seen everything.
You know, actually, same. Dude, actually,
So then I leave, and I
my
don't know.
Instagram now started to give me the same reels I used to watch before. So now, when I see the same reels I've been watching, I'm like, wait, I've seen this before, and I've seen this before, and I've seen this before, and I was like, at some point, I was like, did I just scroll through the end of Instagram?
Did I finish Instagram?
So I just quit at this point.
No, it's not that. I don't know. I got, you know.
Yeah,
It's boring.
Yes,
At some
I
point,
got
it
bored.
starts to get boring. Like really, really boring.
My favorite social media is Snapchat. So I know Snapchat is, in my opinion, underrated by a lot of people.
Streaks.
It's underrated, but I think
I do streaks, obviously, but there is a negative side of it. You were saying something, Rahma.
I think it's underrated, but the thing is, it's kind of dangerous because chats disappear, and you know anyone can say anything.
I always save the chats anyways.
I do, but some people, like when I used to have Snapchat, some people would be like, "Do not change the setup," and then
Do not save them, you mean?
yeah,
Do not save the messages. Why?
yeah,
Why not?
so that they can be comfortable saying whatever they want in the chat.
But then, yeah, that depends on people. If you go on Snapchat because you wanna do funky stuff, you would not want people to.
It's the reason why I hate Snapchat too. I think I hate I hate every social media.
But I think on Instagram you can unsend the message anyways.
That's when it comes to messages, but when it comes to feeds, I think TikTok has a way worse impact than on people. I'm not a TikTok user, and I hope I won't
I
ever
am
be
one.
one. So I cannot speak from experience. I only speak from the things I've read and the things I've heard. And apparently TikTok's impact on youth especially is very dangerous.
For TikTok, I think it depends on the content because I feel like I learned a lot.
I think there are no good content in TikTok.
No, there is.
There is
Because
good
it's-
content. I don't know which side
it
you're TikTok on
it
your
barely
own.
appears.
Now here's the loop. TikTok is good if you use it in a good way, and is bad if you use it in a bad way.
But that's all social
But
media.
too much good becomes bad because of the usage. Now,
Oh, yeah.
what I mean to say is TikTok's algorithm is made to bring to you the content that you'd like to see. The same goes to the bad content as well. If you're triggered by a certain type of content that is deemed bad for yourself, TikTok will obviously bring it back onto your feed. Now, when does the good content become bad? It becomes bad when you start wasting time on it. It's too much good, keeps going on, and then next thing you know, your screen time is 12 hours.
It's actually when it also when the good content becomes bad content when it starts affecting your mental health. So you start comparing yourself. You're like, oh, why am I not like this? Or why am I not like, a top student? Or like, why am I not a gym?
I think that all goes back to being in the middle or moderate.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, because Prophet ﷺ said we need to always be in the middle. I think. Yeah.
خير الأمور أوسطها.
Yes. So I think this, every time I think about this, it goes onto everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything. Literally. Like how religious you are, how much you study, how much you interact with people, social media. Everything needs to be in the middle. And that, I think, yeah, social media. Just don't leave it if you don't want to. But
Even
then
if you wanted to, you
don't
can't.
spend 12 hours like someone we know.
No names mentioned. One other thing is, so for someone who's looking to break away from the shackles of social media, is to
Delete.
not
Ew,
only
no,
delete.
that's extreme.
No, you actually once you delete it, okay, and then get back to it within a few months, you're gonna realize that you can actually live without it. You're not gonna be attached to it. as
That's
much as
true,
you-
but for someone who's on a lower level or as a lower will, if we can say it this way, is to build real life connections. I believe, or I've noticed in myself, that once I started to meet more people, I recently discovered that I was an extrovert. Yeah, so that was kind of a shock for me because I've been introvert throughout my life, and then recently I redid the test and I actually noticed it because I kind of changed when I went to university, which is a good thing. But then I noticed that as I was getting to know more people, my usage of social media was less and more healthy. So whenever I would use social media, it would not be to post memes as I used to do back in the days, but more to show what I've done in the day, for example. But it would take only 5 minutes of my time, and then all the rest I would stay with people and actually build meaningful relationships and do meaningful stuff in general.
I feel that we lived a very luxurious life and everything. We didn't like a lot of interactions with people, and we all thought that we are introverts, but actually, like most of us, we're not actually introverts. It's just the environment around us that didn't allow us to be extroverts.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Which I totally agree with.
So you mean that by us coming to university, that unlocked
We came out of our shells,
Yeah, exactly.
basically. Which is like so true.
I'm saying this when and on my test I was 53% introvert.
No, but like 53%. So like almost 50.
It's almost the same thing. But that's a decent amount, so you're moderate. You have a decent amount of introversy. Can we say introversy? Is that a word?
Maybe?
You have a decent amount of being an introvert and a decent amount of being an extrovert, which is fair enough. Right now, I redid the 16 personalities test. Before, I used to be 60% introvert and 40 extrovert. Right now, I'm 70 extrovert and 30 introvert. How did that happen? I have no idea.
You get to know people.
But I think it came at the right time. I don't see anywhere in my life where this would have been a good thing, you know.
So, do you think having meaningful connections in real life is better, or on social media it's better?
Real life, obviously.
Real life.
Real life is always true.
I mean, you can
You
connect
can't
with
get
other
catfished
people.
in real life.
No, I mean talking to people online or talking to people in real life. Talking to people online that you've met in real life.
That's so weird. The thing is, for me, when I talk to people, like I have people that I can talk to in real life very normally. On texting, very weird.
I know where you're getting.
And then
Yes.
people where I text very normally online. But then talking to them face to
It's
face
awkward.
is so
So
awkward.
awkward.
It's
I
like,
know,
what the
right?
hell? I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Go
So
ahead.
like, because we did not interact face to face until we came here. So at the beginning, it was very weird to talk to you in real life.
Right? Yeah, I felt the
Yes.
same thing. Yeah. Mariam and I, we all speak online. Though we would see each other like from far and
Yeah,
just
the
say
first
hi.
time we got to know each other was in COVID, face to face, which was fine. But then during COVID, it was all online. So like talking to him face to face was so weird.
Interesting.
But then you get over it.
Yeah.
I've actually met people in the uni. I've met them online, and it was totally fine. When I met them in real life, it was even better. Like, it turns out they're great people. So it really depends on how you interact with them, I guess.
To be honest, I don't like having online friends because it never gets past that. I know people in uni, but I talk to them online. But then what? I want to talk to you in real life, but I can't go to someone and be like, hey, I want to talk to you in real life.
Well, yeah, you can say you can meet up at the library.
It depends
study together.
on
Still
who.
weird.
It depends on
It depends on how close you are with the person.
It's still.
And that's what I don't like about like having online friends, because I want to get past that, but we can't get past that because I'm awkward and they're awkward.
But discussing with people is always easier if you start
Yeah.
by meeting face to face,
Yes.
and then you go in a phase where you discuss online. At least you've met before. You know the guy, you know the person, and you know how they interact. There is an emotional attachment to them. Now, when you move on to the online phase, it's easy because obviously you don't have to deal with them physically. But then when you meet again face to face, you won't refer to them with using the interaction that you had online, but instead you will talk to them using the experience that you had before because you met face to face. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So it's always
Actually
easier,
makes more
easier in
sense. Not comparing everything.
And to be honest, like having real life friendships, it creates memories. You can't create memory using social media.
that. Screenshots.
Screenshots are used for threatening only.
So in conclusion, we came to the end of the podcast, and it was nice talking to you guys. It was refreshing to hear different opinions about social media and to actually hear everyone's experiences in social media.
The pleasure is shared. We enjoyed it as well.
It was an honor to have you here.
Grammar.
Real pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you.
So to the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope that you gained some really valuable information throughout this episode. We catch you on the next one, inshallah. See you. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.